Welcome to Tracking the Week. On Monday, in a bid to enhance diplomatic ties and deepen cooperation, Nigeria and Cuba signed a Memorandum of Understanding aimed at fostering stronger bilateral relations. The agreement was signed during a meeting between Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tugar, and his Cuban counterpart, Bruno Rodriguez Pereira. During the discussion, both ministers acknowledged the historical and cultural connections between their countries. Ambassador Tugar highlighted the deep-rooted ties, stating that Cuba holds a special place in Nigeria's diplomatic history. He referenced historical interaction dating back to the colonial era and emphasized the shared cultural influences, particularly from the Yoruba and the Shekiri ethnic groups, which remain prominent in Cuba's tradition, music, and religious practices. Also on Monday, the political battle between Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara and 27 lawmakers loyal to the FCT minister took a new twist as the State House of Assembly served a notice of alleged misconduct on Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy Ngozi Odio. According to the notice obtained by our correspondent, the lawmakers claimed the action was in line with the Nigerian constitution. The Assembly issued the notices to both Fubara and his deputy in spite of earlier denial of any impeachment move against the embattled governor, validating speculations about plot to remove him from office. The allegation of gross misconduct stated reckless and unconstitutional expenditure of public funds contrary to Section 120, 121 and 122 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended as a guide to the issuance of the notice. On Tuesday, President Bola Tinubu declared a state of emergency in Rivers State, saying he felt greatly disturbed at the turn of events regarding the political crisis in the state. At a national broadcast, the president said he has watched with concern the developments with the hope that the parties involved would allow good sense to prevail at the Senate. But all that hope burned out without any solution to the crisis. He said with the crisis persisting, there is no way democratic governance, which everyone fought and worked for over the years, can thrive in a way that will redound to the benefit of the good people of the state. The president cited the demolition of the State House of Assembly by the governor of Rivers State for unjustifiable reasons as far back as 13th December 2023, and as up to now, 14 months later, not rebuilt, same. Also on Tuesday, the Nigerian Senate set up a 9-member ADA committee to investigate the alleged illegal annexation of Nigerian territory by neighboring Cameroon. This decision follows a motion sponsored by Senator Ayekan Bassi, who highlighted the loss of 16 ancestral communities and 2,560 oil wells in Akwa Ibom State due to a 2002 World Court judgment. Correspondent Kolojo reported that the motion also highlighted that the illegal annexation violates multiple international agreements, with lawmakers advocating for a review of the ICJ judgment and calling for the matter to be reported to the United Nations Convention. In their contributions, senators from Cross River, Adamawa and Ogun states equally drew the attention of the Senate to similar situations in their various states. On Wednesday, President Tinubu swore in the former Chief of Naval Staff, Rear Admiral Ibokete Ibas, retired as a sole administrator of Rivers State. Correspondent in Abuchi Nabuchi reported that the brief swearing-in ceremony was held at the presidential villa. It was flanked by State Chief of Protocol Ambassador Adekunle Adeleke and other senior government functionaries. The new administrator took an oath of office before the president. Admiral Ibasekwe's new position was made possible by the state of emergency declared by President Bola Tinubu on Tuesday, which ousted the executive governor of Rivers State Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy Ngozi Odio and members of the Rivers State legislature. Still on Wednesday, the federal government justified declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State, saying the decision was made to stop a possible breakdown of law and order in the state. Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi, who justified the government position by fielding questions from State House correspondent, accused the governor of supporting militant attack on oil facilities, adding that the generation of a crisis which resulted in the bombing of some oil installation warranted the state of emergency in the first instance. Fagbemi also said the destruction of the State House of Assembly by the Siminalayi Fubara government, preventing lawmakers from discharging their responsibilities, was the genesis of the crisis which warranted the presidential declaration. On Thursday, the Senate formally approved proclamation of state of emergency in Rivers State following Tinubu's declaration that cited deepening political turmoil and worsening security situation in the oil-rich South-South state. The Senate also resolved that the state of emergency declared in the proclamation may be reviewed or terminated by the President at any time, but it must not exceed a period of 6 months. Correspondent Kunle Ojo reports that at Thursday's plenary, the Red Chamber invoked its constitutional powers under Section 305, Subsection 2 of the 1999 Constitution as amended to ratify the emergency rule during plenary. Still on Thursday, the National Judicial Council debunked reports that the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, had been released and repatriated back to Kenya. NGC, in a statement signed by its Deputy Director of Information, Kemi Ogedengbe, in Abuja, emphasized that the purported report is a fabrication and the figment of the writer's imagination. The Council clarified that while the release is attributed to the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekereekun, there is no court decision from her to substantiate the claim. Kanu is currently facing a 7-count terrorism charge brought against him by the federal government. He was first arrested on October 14, 2015, following his return to Nigeria from the UK. He was later granted bail in 2017 on health grounds after being detained at the Kuje Correctional Facility. On Friday, leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, formally apologized to the Federal High Court Justice Binta Nyako and Adegboyega Awomolusan over his misconduct at the last proceedings of his trial on the terrorism charges. He pleaded passionately for forgiveness and promised to be of good conduct throughout the duration of his trial. Correspondent Kunle Ojo reported that Kanu's apology was contained in a lengthy prepared speech delivered by his lead counsel and former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Kanu Agabi. Agabi said that Kanu had cause to be angry, but ought not to have spoken when anger overwhelmed him. In a brief remark, Awomolusan said he was moved by the plea and asked forgiving Kanu for all he said against him. Lastly, on Friday, the Supreme Court returned Samuel Anyanwu as National Secretary of the People's Democratic Party (PDP). In a unanimous judgment, a 5-member panel of the Apex Court says matters bordering on the leadership of membership of a political party is its internal affair and should not be the business of a court. These judgments set aside the decision of Appeal Court Enugu Division, which on 20 December 2024 affirmed the removal of Anyanwu by a Federal High Court in Enugu. The Apex Court says the Federal High Court lacked jurisdiction to have had the matter instituted by Anyanwu Emmanuel. And that's it on Track in the Week.